Cattywampus, pumpernickel, snickerdoodle, giggle, giggle, giggle. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Cattywampus, pumpernickel, snickerdoodle, giggle, giggle. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. We made up that song at Vespers this past week. Our theme is play for the month of June. And we made up that song and it was silly and we loved it. And it has been feeding my heart and soul ever since. We are glad that you are here today to play with us. William Blake said, to see the world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. I wonder if William Blake wasn't talking about play when he thought that, because that's what happens when we play. Time expands, we get lost, we become present. And so we hope to invite you into that space during this Sunday morning hour. We welcome you, and we are so fortunate to have someone playing with us this morning. Erin Cole-Baker is a local musician. She's been playing music for over 30 years. She began playing music when she was 8 years old. She's lived here in Bend, she's lived in New Zealand, she's back here in Bend. When I asked her why she loved music, or why she loved to play music, she said, it's the place I return to. It keeps calling me. When I don't play, I feel the difference. I wonder if that same holds true for you. Maybe play is not your first instinct, but do you feel the deficit when you don't feel light, when you're not playing, when you don't find that time to be present and hold eternity in an hour, and infinity in the palm of your hand? That's a lofty goal, friends, to hold eternity in an hour and infinity in the palm of our hands. But that's what we're going to try and do today. So we will welcome you wherever you are in this country or world. I don't know. We assume no one's international, but maybe they are. Wherever you are in the space of this day, we welcome you. Whoever you are, however you are, whatever you are. This is a space for you to come, to be, to calm, to enliven, to simply be with others as we hold one another on this, our Flower Communion Sunday, where we celebrate the uniqueness of every single one of our individualities and how those come together to create the beauty of what it is to be a community with one another. We welcome you into this space today. And so we begin today with one of the most rousing and I would say a little playful songs because of the way it is musically made. Morning Has Come.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope is shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns,
All right, let's try that again. Our chalice lighting words today come from Walter Rauschenbach. Play is anything we do for the joy and love of doing it, apart from any profit, compulsion, or sense of duty. It is the real living of life with the feeling of freedom and self-expression.
Good morning. I'm Mark Hickman, and I've been the music director at UUFCO for the last 3 years. And before we sang the chalice lighting response, Spirit of Life, I wanted to let you know this will be my last Sunday working as music director for UUFCO. It's an old truism, but it really has been an honor and a privilege to be in this role at UUFCO. I especially want to thank the people who participated in the choir when we were able to do that, my first year and a half here. It was really wonderful directing you. I appreciate all of your contributions and looking forward to singing with you in the future. And to the young people who joined us for those 2 songs, We Are One and Building Bridges, it was wonderful having you being part of the music program here. I really hope that moving forward, we find a way to include young people more and more in the musical life of UUFCO. And to everybody in the fellowship and the staff, I want to thank you for being able to be part of raising up the principles and covenant here, and music as part of the service is part of it. And I really enjoyed working with Scott to have music complement his message each Sunday. So that said, please join me in singing Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Mark. For what you have offered this community in the last 2 years has been such a tremendous gift. Leora, if you would open up the chat right now, that would be wonderful. And if you have an appreciation for Mark and what he has gifted this community in his time as the music director, we'll just invite you to put that into the chat right now. Some appreciations for this man who has given so much. And I would say he has given so much, and he has done it with such love and willingness. Mark is not only our music director, but he's a person who deeply loves and appreciates this community. And that comes through in everything that he does and how he does it. He's a model for me, honestly, about what it means to be a part of a religious community. One of the things he said is, Mark and I have really taken great delight in thematically twisting the music and the message in the service sermons. And that's one of the things that we were committed to and really, really appreciated doing. And so not only Mark, but also the choir, our great appreciation to the choir. There are days coming ahead, trust me, good people, where we will be together and we will sing together as religious communities are bound to do. For now, we have to wait just a little longer. But that time is coming when we get back together, embodied and in person with one another. We'll celebrate Mark all together as a community as we transition to whoever the person is. We have a wonderful search team right now that is hot on the trail of figuring out what is next for the music life of this congregation. We sent a survey. We appreciate all the feedback from you all as well. But we'll celebrate Mark. In the meantime, for Mark and for Susie, we're offering them some experiences at Tower Theater so that they can enjoy music. They can rest, sit back, and enjoy music for a while. And a couple other things from the church. In this weird Zoom thing, this would be the point where I would maybe hug Mark and thank him in person, but he's in the conference room here at the church and I'm out on the patio. But yet we are still together, as we are all together. So Mark, thank you so very much for all that you've offered us, the way that you have made music in this congregation. Of course, we hold that central, but you have made that come alive in a way that was beautiful, uniquely you, and wonderful for all of us to experience and be a part of. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. We are grateful. And we know you're not leaving, of course. You're a part of this community, stepping down from this role, and we're curious about what role will be next. But thank you, Mark, deeply. From my heart, on behalf of this congregation, we are grateful and so very fortunate to have been blessed by your music ministry.
Good morning. My name is Chela Sloper, and I'm the Congregational Life Facilitator, and I have today's announcements. As Reverend Scott opened up the service today with a playful song. Yes, the theme this month is play. So there'll be a variety of opportunities and things to just make us consider what play is, but better than just thinking about play, it's good to do some things that liven our hearts. So today, as Reverend Scott was saying, is Flower Celebration Sunday. And today between noon and 1, we're all invited to go to the patio at the church. Some of us have never been there before, 61980 Skyline Ranch Road. And for others that have been there and have loved going there, you'll know your car may just find its way there. So between noon and 1, so the flower ritual that we do is a long-standing Unitarian Universalist ritual that is so simple and so beautiful, where if we have flowers to bring, we bring those, and then we'll receive a different flower. And as you saw, there are flowers already there. So if you don't have flowers in your garden, or if they haven't been blooming yet, we've got you covered. So come on out. I'm bringing coral bells and a couple iris, but yes, come out between noon and 1. Now we're going to ask that you wear masks, a face mask, because the youth are also having an outdoor activity today. And we want to make sure that everyone is safe. And they'll be in a location not far from where the flower ritual will be taking place. So we ask that you wear a mask. And about the rock painting activity, Amy, our DRE, has asked that if you haven't signed up yet, to please send her an email, amy@ufco.org. She needs to have an RSVP just to make sure that, that all the space is appropriately set up. So email her, and the rock painting will be from 12:15 to 12:45, and you can stay till 1 if you'd like. So, so those are 2 really exciting ways that we'll be able to get together today. So in our immediate future this week, tomorrow is the last day for submissions for art on the patio. So that'll be on June 26th, but tomorrow is the deadline to submit your art for the show, either for purchase or just show and tell. So Christina Ziegler's email has been in the weekly ACE in our all congregational email. So be sure to send the submission to her. Speaking about our ACE, a special welcome to those who are new to our congregation. If you'd like to sign up for our weekly communications, we really try to respect keeping our inboxes with minimal email traffic. but we have a virtual visitor form that you can fill out, and it should be in the chat soon. Okay, so tomorrow night, Women's Connections has a real special treat. They will have a presenter talking about birding basics. A lot of folks have just found birds, some of our prehistoric survivors, as just something so beautiful and so interesting to study. You'll need to RSVP for that as well. And so look to our website, and under the Get Involved, there's Women's Connections, and it'll be clear how to sign up for that. Okay, now here's something really exciting. We've got a couple of opportunities that we're looking at this summer as we're getting used to the thaw of the pandemic freeze, right? So we're looking for folks to open their homes, both for Zooming together on Sunday. So we're looking at having small groups of folks meeting in one another's homes to still share worship together, but in our homes. And there'll be more information in the ACE. And we're looking to try that out on 2 Sundays, General Assembly Sunday, which is June 27th, and then the following Sunday, which is July 4th. And Reverend Scott will be speaking that day. So I'll be helping with the signups and just sort of organizing that. And this is a way too for newcomers to the congregation to also meet some other folks. So that's Zooming together on Sundays. And then we're also looking at having a couple of summer circle suppers. It's a lot of S's. And so once again, we'll look for hosts first, and then we'll use the sign up as we have used for Bethlehem Inn dinners and also for our Sunday volunteers. Oh yeah, Sunday volunteers. When we're looking at getting together again in September, be thinking about how you would like to serve the congregation on Sunday. That's a little ways off. I don't want to scare you, but I just want to let you know that yes, September 12th will be our in-gathering service when we are looking forward to being together in the sanctuary again. Okay, so before I send you off today, because it's play this month, blessings on your day.
Good morning. I'm Amy Brock, and I serve as the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth. Each year, Unitarian Universalists celebrate beginnings and endings along with all of the wonderful seasons and between them. Today is one of those endings as we look toward closing our regular program year, but it's also beginning as we look toward summer. This year was a bit different for us in so many ways. It's hard to imagine what the end of a program year like this one might be like after a full year online when we began this journey together in the fall. And it has been such a memorable adventure. As we close our time in RE this morning, I am filled with so much gratitude for our young people and their families that are members of this community. A colleague of mine, Helen Rivers, captured much of our experience and the collective experience of others who have journeyed alongside us this year in a story that they wrote called The Garden. And I'd like to share that story with you this morning. It was autumn, and the days were getting shorter and colder, and everyone in the garden was in a tizzy. The herbs were stoic and glad to have their leaves and roots harvested and dried for a great number of winter illness remedies. The trees were so festive, and their leaves were changing to every single color of the sunset before settling to the ground, eager to be kissed by the snow. But the flowers worried. What happens to flowers in the winter? Daisy asked. I'm not sure, said Iris. Hydrangea tried to explain. Well, they said, flowers can't survive the winter. We're just too delicate. But most of us come back. Yes, most of us. Some flowers grow and bloom and die all in one year, and others come back after the winter. How do we know which ones we are? Asked Daisy. Well, you were just planted this spring, weren't you? Said Hydrangea. Daisy nodded. There's no way to know yet then. Your petals will fall and your leaves might wither, but you could still come back in the spring. Evergreen had been listening to this whole conversation very thoughtfully. Evergreen was old and very wise. They never had much to say, but they knew everything that happened in the garden. They stood guard over it. Evergreen took a deep breath and then they paused. Remember your roots, they said, and keep the faith. Spring will come. Hydrangea was right. Over the next few weeks, the flowers began to droop and their petals fell off one by one. The first frost, those that remained retreated into their roots and their bulbs. Daisy whimpered. They were scared and cold, and the winter seemed to be lasting for forever. And every time Evergreen heard them, they would say, remember your roots and keep the faith. Spring will come. And Evergreen was right. Spring did come. She came slowly at first, just a few mornings that were warmer than the other ones, and then longer stretches filled with warm sun. And soon the plants began to feel the warmth and wake from their slumber. The azaleas woke up first, chipper and bright-eyed as they bloomed in every color of the sunrise. Next came the daffodils, and then the daisies. Daisy blinked and opened their petals slowly. The winter had been so harsh and so cold, they couldn't believe that it was finally over. They turned tentatively toward the sun. Good morning, welcome back. We're so glad that you're here, said Azalea. Well, where's everyone else? Daisy asked. Where's Hydrangea? Hydrangea should be back soon, they said. This winter was really cold, so they might be taking their time. Daisy wouldn't hear of it though. Remember your roots, they muttered to themselves, and keep the faith. Spring will come. Daisy waited loyally for their friend to return. They repeated their mantra every time they got discouraged, which was sometimes often. Remember your roots and keep the faith. Spring is coming. The waiting felt as long as the winter season. Daisy grew a little bit taller and a little bit brighter, but also impatient. They were eager to enjoy the spring, and they knew that the garden just wouldn't be the same without Hydrangea. And it wasn't. The garden was a little bit vibrant, a little bit less vibrant, and a little bit less whole without them. It just wasn't the same. But finally, after what felt like forever, Hydrangea started to stretch and wake up. Daisy watched excitedly as their buds opened into blossoms. You're back, Daisy exclaimed. Oh, I'm so glad. I missed you so much, and I was so worried that you wouldn't wake up. I was worried too, said Hydrangea. I've never had a winter that cold before. I almost didn't come back. What happened? Said Daisy. Well, I kept hearing you all say that spring was coming, and so I decided to keep trying. It was really hard and I wanted to give up. I just didn't want to wait anymore, but I knew that you were here waiting for me and I didn't want to let you down. I'm so glad that you're here, Daisy replied. And Hydrangea agreed. And as the flowers in the garden lay in the sunshine, they thought about autumn, they thought about winter, and they agreed that they were all thankful that spring had finally arrived. And now it's spring for us here too. Well, at least for a few more weeks. And then it will be summer, and then autumn will come again. And while we may have a favorite or least favorite season of the year, they all serve a really important purpose. In fact, each season offers us the opportunity to grow individually and together as we continue to celebrate life here as a community and kind of our own little garden at UUFCO. And so ends our time together today. Let's all say the Children's Covenant. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I'm a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved.
Good morning. I'm happy to be invited here to share some of my songs. This first song I'm going to play is called Morning Dove, and I wrote it for my daughter. June. I'm the wind that blows you, and I'm the one that knows you like nobody else, like nobody else. I hope you'll know a love so true, like how choked up I get over loving you like nobody else, like nobody else. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. You are the rain that cools me, and you are the one who changes me like nobody else, like nobody else. I hope you'll feel a love so true, where you want to be a better you for nobody else, for nobody else. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. I am the ground you stand on, one friend you can depend on, like nobody else, like nobody else. You are the light that guides me when there's no one left beside me. There's nobody else, there's nobody else. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. Ooh.
Yesterday, I was offered an invitation from my son to play Legos. We had a lot going on yesterday. It was a busy day, like most days are. And I said, perhaps later. And I missed that opportunity to play with Legos. Anytime I say yes to that invitation, I am immediately invited into a world that is different than the one that I usually walk through most of my time. It's a time of slowing down. It's a time of deep play where I can lose myself in that moment. Diane Ackerman said, when one enters the realm of deep play, the sacred playground, where only the present moment matters, one's history and future vanish. One doesn't remember one's past, needs, expectations, worries, real or imaginary sins. The deep play world is fresh, wholly absorbing, and full of its own unique wisdom and demands. Being able to temporarily step outside of normal life while keeping one's senses alert is indeed like being reborn, to erase all memories and yearnings. To be vigorously alive without self-awareness can provide a brief return to innocence. That's what it feels like when I play Legos. When I was setting this up this morning, I started to play. I had stuff to do to get ready for service, but there was a slight moment where I just played with some Legos, and it was wonderful. Erin's song was about gratitude, the joy her child. So often to feel that moment of gratitude, to slow down, to make space in our heart and our life is a similar one to play. To take a moment and just be present. It is so simple, yet so elusive, is it not? Alan Watts talked about the idea of play and how humans are made for play. He said, if the point of a song was to get through it and done, well, then whoever played the song the fastest would be the best. But that's not what a song is about. A song is about creating space, experiencing it, being in that moment. Leslie Levine wondered about this for adults, because for children, clearly, play is much easier. She said, why is play so elusive for some grown-ups? For some grown-ups, she said, because we are so strongly attracted and attached to profoundly goal-oriented, work ethic-driven society. Like other forms of non-work, play connotates wastefulness, a stoppage in the way of what needs to get done. Yet often what really needs to get done has more to do with our hearts and our spirits and less to do with any kind of deadline or long-standing project. Play beckons to us, urging us to live in the present moment, a moment that becomes more luminous when we disallow interruptions like work and worry. So that is our invitation to play, which is really an invitation to be present. And in that space, our hearts open and gratitude can come rushing in. Because I know whenever I get done playing Legos, I feel grateful. I feel grateful for that moment because I was present. I'm also grateful for this community. This has been quite the year, and we would just like to take a moment for our staff to reflect back what we have seen in this community. This has been, as Amy said, a year like no other. We've been meeting on Zoom. We are now slowly starting to have opportunities available to meet in person. First hugs are being offered. And as we look back, we have a lot to be grateful for in the way that we have transitioned and reshaped and rethought about our church life together. And so I just asked our staff. Staff has such an interesting and unique perspective on the life of the church. We act as a hub for all of your wonderful energy and all of the doings and comings and goings. And so, Leora, if you would just make us staff heavy right now on our thing. I've just invited the staff to share a little bit of their perspective on what they have seen, what they've witnessed this year in this community.
We're all here, Scott.
Oh, I can't see that on mine because I'm on my phone.
I know.
Okay, all right. Leora, I'm gonna, let's see. So I can't see who's there. Leora, would you mind just inviting each staff person to just share a bit?
Sure.
Starting with yourself, perhaps?
Oh, you want me to start? Okay. So I have witnessed that I was only here 9 months when the pandemic started. And throughout the pandemic, when I thought about like the separation, I thought, well, I'm going to know these people even less, and then I'll have to get to know everyone. And that felt a little scary, a little daunting. And what I've witnessed is the opposite. I know many of you so much better now, despite the distance, despite the separation. I get to talk with you about what you're needing, support you in your pledging, and I feel really lucky to know you better. And I it helps me look forward even more to seeing more of you in person. And yeah, Peggy was first to unmute, so let's let Peggy talk next.
Well, you mentioned you'd been there only 9 months, and I can't believe, if I count right, Mark, you can probably help me with this. I think I had only been with you with for 8 months, but it seemed so much longer. And I think the words that pop to mind, and I would say this is true for the staff and the congregation, is just such thoughtfulness, such care, such love for one another, such patience with a developing situation, and such appreciation for everyone's contributions and participation. And those are the words that I will always remember when I think of the UU congregation and staff. And I have been very grateful to be a part of this.
Thanks, Peggy. How about you, Chayla?
Thanks so much. So looking at what the pandemic brought to us, it would have been really easy to just lose heart and just sort of cave in to despair. And that has not been what this congregation has done. In fact, it seems to me, I have this thought that hope is love reaching into the future, or love meeting life as it comes to us, especially when it's difficult. And I feel like the creativity and adaptability of the congregation has just been remarkable. I do want to celebrate our some of my fellow co-workers, the staff especially, who have taken on the Sunday production, Leora, Parker, and Jonathan. Like, what a mind-blowing thing to have to scramble and figure out. And it's been an ongoing learning adventure just to make these Sunday services as steady and as clear and as accessible as possible. So a big thank you to them. I also just want to highlight a few remarkably creative adaptations. And I know that whenever you start naming anything, some things are going to be left out. I want to highlight that the auction committee did a fabulous adaptation to a virtual auction. It was just so daunting, like, how are we going to make this happen? And they worked with the software that we had used before for an in-person auction, and it was such a success. So over $9,000. So that's just a remarkable, remarkable accomplishment. The Women's Connections group has continued to have monthly interesting opportunities, even through Zoom, opportunities to get together, to have stimulating conversations and opportunities for growth and fellowship. So I'm so grateful. It's been so exciting. The few times when we've seen the youth participate, just to see them as saplings coming up in the garden of UUFCO. And so that's been really exciting. And lastly, I really want to thank the stewardship committee for having their vision and the way that they were able to welcome us all to continue loving this congregation through our financial support. And I just know that the pandemic has been so disruptive for so many people. And this congregation exceeded the goal that the stewardship committee had set. So what an incredible show of the ongoing love, support, creativity, and hope. So that makes me really excited about our future as we continue together. So that's it.
I'm going to let Mark go last. So it's Amy's turn.
Yeah, it's just been so joyful to observe a community coming together online to offer support and care for our young people and their families and their faith formation journeys. I know as UUs, we talk sometimes about how parents and caregivers and other beings in a child's home are their primary religious educators. And sometimes we also talk about how congregations are the primary curriculum that we offer in our religious exploration spaces. But what a year to really watch both of those things sort of come to life in a unique way. So whether you donated funds or volunteered in a class or cooked waffles for your kids to eat while they were in our RE program, or just sent some kind thoughts and words to our families, you were such an important part of our RE experience this year. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amy. All right, Mark, it's your turn.
So one of the things I realized this morning is this has been one of my 3 services where I've been able to be up in the church since the pandemic hit. And what a treat it is to be here. And I remember with the shutdown, there have been some worries before that. Is the church the building? Is somehow this gorgeous space we're in really the essence of UUFCO? And I think one of the things this last year has taught us is it's a wonderful, wonderful space, but it's not who we are. We're a community that stayed together, strong, connected, creative, loving, in spite of not having the opportunity to be here. And I'm sitting in front of this great artwork. For those of you who had the joy of being here in the building during the service where the artwork behind me was created, it's going to be fun to do that again. But we've found a way to still have some joint creativity and connection this past year. And it's really impressive and wonderful. I'll say personally, as I've made the tough choice to move on and shift my priorities in the next year, I've really gotten a lot of love and support for the contributions I made as music director. And so I thank everybody for that. It's been a really good part of my journey. And I look forward to being a member of the congregation and participating in different ways in the future. And really look forward to doing that here. This building is not the church, but it's a great asset. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all here again.
Thanks, Mark. Jonathan and Parker are having an adventure today. And I just want to take a very brief moment to honor the both of them. Your building congregation stands beautifully maintained and cleaned and ready for you due to Parker's loving care of it. We've made a few upgrades, a few just tiny improvements, but it is largely just ready to welcome you back. And Jonathan has, for those of you who haven't got a chance to know him well, I encourage you to do that. Of course, all of our staff are lovely, but I would say that Jonathan has been pretty helpful and important to me and maybe other staff members as well. Just he's so upbeat, and I feel like that energy and that joie de vivre that he brings, it has really helped me get through this pandemic and maybe for some of you as well. Back to you, Scott.
Great. Thanks, everybody. So much gratitude, so much love, so much appreciation. It's nice to have somewhere to put that, isn't it? It's nice to have a community where you can come with your heart full and say, listen to this fantastic thing that has happened to my life, or listen to this thing that has been painful and is hurting in my life. That's what we are. That's the space we create. We'll open up our chat now for our joys and sorrows space. If there's a joy or sorrow in your life that you'd like to share with this community, please feel free to enter that into the chat and have it witnessed and held by this, your loving community.
Well, I don't usually get the time to share my joys and sorrows because I'm always playing, and I will do so today. But I just wanted to share first a sorrow. It's kind of a selfish sorrow. I'm going to be so sorry not to be working with Mark anymore. I've loved it. He has been so welcoming and helpful, and upbeat and everything that we know Mark to be. And I so appreciate that. And I will miss you, Mark, and you, Susie, as well. And but I am joyful that they are going to be having new adventures together, and that I'm sure will enrich them, and without the obligation or the just the time that it takes each week to bring music to us. In any case, today, while you share your joys and sorrows, I'm going to be playing a little piece from a Schumann work called Forest Scenes, and the title is appropriate, called The Lonely Little Flowers.
Mark, will you,
Gotta take a moment when the going's tough. So drink so bitter you can barely swallow. You're trying to be kinder to yourself. 'Cause damn, it can only get better. Sunrise knows its way home. Turn, turn, turn. Give me another try. I hope I learn, learn, learn. a moment when the going's good. Put fingers in the dirt, hold my child close. Practicing kindness to myself. Breath kicked out of me sooner or later. Sunrise knows its way home. Turn, turn, turn. Give me another try. I hope I learn. I am a vapor gathering cloud. I'm a whisper on the breeze from the fire. You're made of everything that's pure and good. Shout it out, shout it out, shout it out. Shout it out, shout it out, shout it out. Made of everything that's pure and good. Shout it out, shout it out, shout it out.
The song was called Turn, Learn. If that is not somehow, for me at least, abundantly appropriate, what I'm feeling in my life right now, in this time of transition, I've heard it called space that we are in right now, coming out of a year of COVID and Zoom and non-contact, coming into personhood with people, still being cautious, still being careful, still being curious, still looking for consent in all of our relationships. But it does ask the question, what did we learn over this last year? And where does that point us toward? In 1923, Norbert Čapek was a Unitarian minister in Czechoslovakia. He was feeling playful, perhaps, one day as he was walking across the countryside. Our friends at Foothills Unitarian Church in Fort Collins, Colorado, have created a wonderful visual video telling us the story of the flower ceremony and celebration.
Nearly 100 years ago, the Unitarian minister Norbert Čapek offered his Czechoslovakian congregation a ritual to respond to their questions about how to be a community that welcomed rather than suppressed diversity. Czechoslovakia was a country formed in the aftermath of war, struggling just 5 years after the end of that war with questions of belonging and identity, trust and anxiety. Čapek's ritual took the traditional bread and wine communion that his community was too heretical for and too resistant to these usual symbols and played with this ritual. He turned instead to the beauty of nature all around them and invited each of his congregants to find a flower and bring it to the church one Sunday. That each person would find the flower that was beautiful to them was a symbol of their affirmation that each of us has a piece of the truth, our unique sense of what beauty means. On their way into the church, his congregation was in turn invited, each of them, to place that flower in a vase, which symbolized their free choice to enter into community alongside all the other people that saw beauty in their own way, symbolized by their flowers placed there as well. A free church where people freely choose to walk together across their differences. Once everyone had gathered, they'd bring the vase forward. Then the minister, Chopak, he would bless it. And then he'd invite everyone to choose a flower to take home with them, but just not the one that they came with. Again, this free choice affirmed each person's choice to be blessed by another and to receive with an open heart their different understandings of beauty and to feel connected rather than divided by this difference. In this moment where so many forces seek to divide people, to play on our fears of differences and our anxieties of the other, here we remember that we freely choose to walk together and to be blessed by the differences between us and to see these differences as beauty.
These words were first spoken by the Reverend Norbert Chopek at the first flower ceremony 98 years ago, a meditation and prayer. We bring to this hour our precious and fragile selves. We bring the triumphs of the week and the scars of the years. We place ourselves in a sacred and safe place, a vessel of the Spirit, that we might once again reconnect with the sources of our hope and faith. In the sweetness of our gathered time, may that which we seek be found, that which we offer be received, and that which we love be exalted. Thus may we learn to rejoice in life and to move forward in spite of bitterness and pain. For surely we are not alone in this world. Surely resources, human and holy, are available to aid us through jagged, ragged times and to intensify our appreciation of glorious and gleeful times. Never are we beyond the reach of love. Never are we fallen as far or as hard as we think, for we live and move and have our being within the intricate webbing of an interdependent and interconnected creation. And so as summer abundance advances, so too may our spirits grow and mature from timidity to confidence, from grief to gratitude, from lethargy to energy, and from desire to deed.
Mountains could look good on you, something that you never saw. If you can find your safe space to soak in the sun. Favorite places always know the truth. can hold your head up. Allow yourself to be a child. Favorite place is always now. The truly burn away all you think you are. Favorite places have their way. Searching for somewhere to land, a place to call your own. It's hard to split the difference. 2D feels so alone. Favorite places always now. The truly burn away all you think you are. Favorite places always now.
Thank you, Erin. Favorite places. This is one of my favorite places in the entire world. This congregation. This place that we meet. This thing we do together. Another favorite place. We are fortunate people here in Bend, Oregon. Surrounded by beauty, available to us anytime that we are able to take a moment and play. Take a moment to slow down. Take a moment to enjoy, be grateful, be not so serious. This is your place. I hope this summer you feel free to come here and roam the grounds, walk the labyrinth, play on the playground, perhaps, over there. Get in touch with that child inside of you. Favorite places. This is one, for sure. Let's close our flower celebration with what seems to be one of the all-time favorites, Blue Boat Home. Thematically, Mark and I understood that this doesn't exactly fit with the service, but sometimes it's just good to sing it. You join us in singing Blue Boat Home.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
As we close our time together and extinguish the flames of the chalices we lit at home, and hopefully the chalice we lit here, please join me in saying the UUFCO covenant together. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Cattywampus, pumpernickel, snickerdoodle, giggle, 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 supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, pumpernickel, snickerdoodle, giggle, giggle, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's just downright silly, you all. And that's part of the fun. I close today with the words of friend and colleague Gretchen Haley. Whatever beat is moving through your bones, whatever holy disturbance holy disturbance is rising in your chest. Whatever good word you've got for the good of the whole, clap it, snap it, and bring it out. Call it out. Take the beat, add to it, change it, make it yours. Gathered here in this sweet beauty, this power. Bring all that you are. Let it out. Let us not waste this time. Let us not make a joyful noise and have it go unheard. Let us make that joyful noise, that sound, a fuller call, a greater yes. Say it with me. Yes. Call out hello and amen and woohoo and yes. Sing for justice, sway in hope, play with purpose. This time is precious. You are precious. And all of us, this chance is a gift. Each breath is a gift. Being together is a gift. Let us celebrate a new rhythm, write a song, make a new march for this longing, this dreaming, this discovery, for the urgent call of this day, for this courageous love. Let it ring and call out. Go into this day in peace. We invite you to stay for our coffee hour breakout rooms in Zoom, where we are exploring the frivolous question of what are you up to this summer? If you'd like to contribute to the good works of this church, we'll put up some information during Peggy's postlude of how you can offer a gift of financial resources to support the work of this church. We bid you good day. Go in peace. Go and play. Amen.